And so, can you just talk about why
We're protesting the fact that the Supreme Court ruled in versus Johnson that cities can make laws to make it illegal to be a homeless person. And so we are already seeing increase in sweeps and harassment of the homeless by the city. And that's been going on for years and years, but it seems to be stepping up. And we're very, very concerned that ultimately people will start getting ticketed for camping, that they'll get misdemeanor cases, that the penalties will increase, and that the lives of people living on the street will be made that much more difficult.
Now, with these protests, obviously all, can you just talk about, what the hope is, what the outcome that you all are looking for?
Well, we're hoping that it's here in Santa Cruz that the mayor will not adopt more strict laws against the homeless, that he will stop these homeless sweeps, and that he will start to take the really literally millions and millions of dollars that are given to the city to help the homeless and start actually using it to provide, let's say, camping areas for them, and ultimately housing that people can afford to live in. So that's like the most important thing, is not tiny homes, not shelters, but really putting people in their own apartments and having access to like services. Because it's what $4 million was given to the city to sweep Coral Street and Harvey West, and then another $14 million was supposed to help the homeless, but so far all they've done is sweep the benchlands and the Poconet and Coral Street and Harvey West, and they're not really using these millions and millions of dollars that taxpayers are spending on actually providing long-term solutions to people living outside.
Now, I want to read you something. I reached out to the city just to, hear their response. And the response that I got was, so the city said that they, remain committed to reducing homelessness by continuing to implement different strategies such as building more affordable housing, offering shelter, increasing outreach and service connections, and closing down large camps that pose health and safety risks. What's your response to that? Do you feel like that's something that the city has been doing? They say they're committed to doing it. So
that sentence that you just read from the city, it's the same sentence they've been saying over and over again now for at least 15, 20 years. Yet we can see literally hundreds and hundreds of people are still living outside. So apparently, even though they tell the public that, that's not actually what happens. So they are, in fact, sweeping camps, but they're also ticketing people just for sleeping in the doorways of downtown, where they're kicked out of the camps. They have no place to go, and so they're not. The affordable housing is only affordable for people that are making roughly $100,000 a year. It's not affordable for homeless people. And then they have all kinds of barriers to getting housing. Like, for instance, I tried to rent across the street here, and because I have a misdemeanor conviction for a protest, they won't rent to me, even though I have a great FICO score and I've got to prove I can make money. I've written books, I've got income. They wouldn't rent. In fact, most of the places downtown wouldn't rent to me because I had this one protest misdemeanor. Now, if you live outside, it's very likely you will get a misdemeanor conviction. And with the new Supreme Court ruling, it's likely that many, many hundreds of homeless people are going to get misdemeanor convictions, and that those penalties will increase. So it's basically, they keep saying the same thing, but they just never actually come through with affordable housing, with, we have a family of 4 children we're trying to get into a shelter that we haven't been able to get them into a shelter for a week or 2 now, and they shouldn't have 3-year-old kids living on the streets. That's just outrageous. So that is, if they have all these plans, then a family with 3-year-old twins should be right into a shelter somewhere.
So, moving forward today, what would you like to see them do now?
Well, I think I would like it if they stopped doing the sweeps. At one point, at Harvey West, where we take food, we were taking food every day. They actually put in 4 portable toilets, a dumpster, and hand washing stations for people living up in the mountains above them. So if they started to do that and had camps where you didn't have to worry you were going to have to move everything in the next day, lose half your belongings, and they provided portable toilets and dumpsters for the people that are forced to live outside and can't afford to live outdoors, it would be, then that would be a great solution. But the way they're doing it now is that they just like arrest you, ticket you. And I'm afraid because of my experience with Fred Keeley, what's called the Cash Committee, he was a facilitator, that he's going to be very tough on homeless people, as he demeaned them the entire year that he was leading that committee, and that there'll be pressure. We're already hearing from homeless people that citizens are yelling, "Aha! We won in the Supreme Court. We can get rid of you now." So, Fred, happy to accept popular support to get rid of homeless people, will say that, oh yeah, the public's demanding it again, even though they're actually organizations that are coordinated with the city to create this atmosphere that we got to get rid of homeless. But every city is doing this, so it's not like it's only happening in Santa Cruz. Yeah. So we met with Fred Keeley before he was mayor, and he then he talks in this circular political politician way where you never get to any real thing. And then at the very end he said, well, you support a bond measure where we build a giant shelter that holds 1,000 people. I'm like, no, we're not going to do that. And so then we start to see that the plan is these giant shelters that'll be navigation centers is what they call them, and then they're going to divert people into like prison camps. And already, yesterday I'm handing out this flyer, and the woman that I'm handing, she said, oh, we're really worried this could turn into a future where they start interning the homeless like they did the Japanese in World War II. And she goes, I'm already in a concentration camp. I'm at the armory. It's like a concentration camp. So people are really, and we've been talking about the fear of camps now for quite a few years. If you dehumanize just like in Palestine, they're not human, so you can kill them, you don't care. And they use often the same exact language to describe Palestinians that they describe homeless people, like next door. It's really frightening. Yeah, you can't, because the government, the city council, so we used to have 4 good city councilors, and the real estate industry spent part of their $750,000 in the anti-rent control campaign to get rid of 2 of them. And then the other one just never supported us at all anymore. And so they just hate homeless people. There's no talking to them. They're controlled by large corporations who hate the homeless and want the dead. And that's basically it. That's why we're here. We're trying to cause some pain to the mayor, because what we found is that if you put direct pressure on them and make it uncomfortable for them, then they will maybe slow down on the repression against the homeless. But if you just talk to them, they'll say, oh yeah, they'll give you the same paragraph you read to me. And they just keep reading it over and over.
It's really important to say, Rudy, as far as I know, you said they spent $24 billion on the homeless industrial complex. I'm still homeless. I've been homeless in this town for weeks.
But yeah, maybe put it across there where it says
I went to Berkeley, I'm pretty well informed. And this thing in my head is ruined all my adult life. More gallons. Monsanto shut it down because they didn't want people to know it was real. And I killed it with your dog's medicine. I'm bleeding from street corners. All the locals are harassing me, putting fish emulsion on my parking, yelling threats. I was in my vehicle just now yelling at God, please God, I'm too sick to live today, I have shit to do. And a guy ran by and said, fuck you. I chased him down, I said, hey man, I'm homeless and dying in the richest country in the world, why are you hating me? He said, I thought you were yelling at me. I said, okay, cool. Honestly, I am trying to move to Austin, Texas, because I want to do comedy at Joe Rogan's Club, and I can't stand being here anymore. I am being crapped on by liberals. I'm from a very liberal family, and these people are not progressives, they're elitist pigs, and they hate me on sight.
Okay. So we're in the same boat.
Yeah, there's going to be Panetta and Keeley reading that book, pretending like Trump is like somehow more dangerous than Biden, which is obviously bullshit.
That's at least in my opinion. I'm like, oh, okay, that's why,
Eventually we'll like go over to the other place. I want to set that up.
we got more people. Want to make sure to get your sign.
I'll be back in this week. You don't need
Sleeping is not a crime. It is a right.
You're taller than I am. But this is crazy. Oh, wow.
Yeah, take 5, take 5.
Right?
Yeah, we got pride. But they don't. But you don't have. The thing is about politics.
All right.
We're not.